Hello everyone and welcome to Wednesday Winners. My name is Kralsitz and today we will take a look at Killing Floor 2. Killing Floor 2 is a cooperative online zombie wave survival game. Well, replace zombies with Zeds and you got it. This sequel to the well-received Killing Floor is currently available on Steam for $26.99 or a regional equivalent. Let's jump straight into the gameplay. First off, there are two gameplay modes, Survival and Versus Survival. The first one, Survival, is your generic wave killing with a boss at the last level. You gather money through killing Zeds and winning each round. You can use these resources to upgrade your gear or just to refuel with more ammo and armor. There are 12 official maps available and more can be found, created through the modding tool. These maps are pretty well designed, though in most matches you are likely to find the most optimal position where your team can defend the easiest, because of either a low number of entrances or an easy view of the entrances available, causing games to feel very similar, where you run from one point to the trader and back to the optimal point and so on with every wave. At least there is a boss fight at the end, but sadly there are only two bosses available at the moment, Dr. Hans Volter and the Patriarch, both providing a decent challenge to most pickup groups as they both have health regain mechanics, forcing you into a prolonged fight. But I'm very much hoping that the developers add more bosses soon. The second mode is Versus Survival. Here, one half of the players are again trying to survive the oncoming horde, but the other half of the players gain control of the Zeds themselves and try to use them to kill the rest. This mode is pretty fun. Trying to abuse the special abilities of the individual Zeds, like for instance invisibility, to gain an advantage is surprisingly fun. Sadly, there are two problems with this mode. It is hard to find servers for it, and the Zeds usually lose. The latter one can be probably solved through some balancing done on the side of the developers. I'd personally go for giving the players stronger Zeds more often and maybe shortening the respawn timer, but the server problem is a bigger one anyways, because without servers, well, it will be hard to find people to play this game mode with. The gunplay is satisfying, especially thanks to the huge amount of weapons available. There is more than one for every type of player. You like to play with strong pistols? You can. You like to go with a classic, shooting Zeds with an assault rifle? You can. You want to incinerate Zeds with a flamethrower? Go nuts, and so on and so on. You can pick a class from a list of 10 classes that go well with your preferred weapons of choice, allowing you to get a few perks to further boost your abilities. These are useful for sure, but nothing absolutely needed or making the new players useless. The classes range from close combat berserkers, through sniper-like sharpshooters, up to fire-blazing firebugs and many other classes to suit your personal preference. I personally prefer to use the SWAT class, that uses SMGs as can be seen from the video. The nice thing is that each character has access to a heal, so if your team lacks a healer, your team is not screwed. But there are a few gripes I do have with the game. First one is the movement speed of your characters. There are certain enemies that will rush towards you and smash you, and no matter how much you try, it is almost impossible to dodge out of their way unless you somehow abuse the environment to your advantage. I do wish that a character's sprinting speed would be a bit higher, allowing for just a bit easier dodging, or perhaps a dodging mechanic on itself, with a brief invincibility frame and a hefty cooldown. Secondly, the game music doesn't really stand out at all, not really giving anything to the atmosphere at all, and even the sound assets, especially when it comes to the Zed noises, could be somewhat more atmospheric in my opinion. The third gripe will not bother that many people, to be honest, but whenever I tried to record the game using Nvidia Experience software, the game crashed, which as you can imagine can be quite annoying if you're trying to create a video. And since this game was made in cooperation with Nvidia, this really shouldn't happen. On the other hand, the game looks great, especially how the game uses its light assets. The contrast between pitch black and standing in just a teeny bit of light is astounding, making the game's dark places very stressful to be in, because it then becomes very hard to see even the most basic of Zeds, making them quite dangerous. The Zeds themselves look nice too, nothing really out of ordinary of what you would expect of a zombie game, with maybe the exception of the bosses, who really have great design, but I do wish there would be a bigger variety of them. Now let's look at the options menu. First are the video options, and more precisely the basic ones. We can choose the aspect ratio, which in turn limits the resolution options shown to you so you can scroll through them faster, finding the one you want to play the game at. A few graphical presets, going from low to ultra, nothing special here. a VSync option, the usual display settings aka full screen, borderless, and windowed. A variable framerate option that allows you to put out FPS as fast as your GPU can. If this option is unchecked, the game will run at 62 FPS at most. A fill grain option, this makes the game look more like an old horror movie if you do increase the slider. And lastly, we have the NVIDIA Flex option. NVIDIA Flex is a physics engine that obviously requires you to have an NVIDIA graphics, ideally one that's pretty powerful, something along the lines of a 980 or a 1070 at least. Now we can look at advanced options, and we do have a pretty decent number of them here, sadly without any information on how much they affect the performance of the game. I do very much wish that more developers would include such information. Nothing obvious is really missing here. The options that have several possible options usually go from low to ultra, or you do get a specific choice of what you will select. The audio options include 5 separate sliders: master, sound effects, dialogue, in-game music, and voice chat volume. Otherwise, we do have an option to choose either push-to-talk voice over IP, whether we want vocals in our music, and whether we want to minimize the battle chatter. Lastly, there is an option to configure your microphone. The options and controls allow you to change the sensitivity of both your mouse movement and zoom, to invert your Y-axis, and whether you want to enable mouse smoothing or not. You can adjust the same sliders for your controller, and additionally to use several aim assist options, one for zoom lock, one for rotation, and one for slow down. The last option allows you to enable or disable the vibration of your controller. The second tab has all the keybinds, and you can keybind essentially everything, as you should. Unfortunately, there isn't an option for double keybinds, and the last tab gives you 4 options for the layout of your controller. The last menu in options is the gameplay menu, allowing you to change your FOV, the intensity of gore in game, and the friendly HUD scale through 3 sliders. Otherwise, there are a few quality of life options here, like whether you want to see the crosshair and other such stuff. The last thing I want to talk about is the game's performance. It has run well for me, running at about 150 FPS, never dropping under 120. And except for the recording issue, I didn't have any other problems like crashes or anything either. But the most important thing is, the game is actually fun to play and makes you want to come for more, and for its price it's a very good choice for you if you do enjoy playing wave-based first-person shooters. I highly recommend to pick it up, especially if this is the kind of game you enjoy. Well, that's it for today guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, dislike the video and comment your criticisms. See you all next time with more gaming content.